meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Secretary, roll call.
Mr. Bardelli.
Here.
Mr. Vickers.
Here.
Mr. Bogalino.
Here.
Mrs. DeCat.
Here.
Mrs. Hill.
Here.
Mrs. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Pearson.
Here.
Mr. Thomas.
Here.
Mrs. Yates.
Here.
All present for calendar.
Excellent. We'd like to welcome all our visitors. Visitors are welcome to address the board concerning agenda items at the time the board discusses the item. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. We had one executive session before our meeting. Announcement of revisions or additions on item C on new business. It will read renovation spending from $500,000 to $2 million. Item H will read appoint Aaron Bogalino. Item I will read appoint Scott Peterson. And item J will have additional language stating with continued employment after the last student day of the 2022-2023 school year to be contingent upon having obtained a Pennsylvania certification for elementary grades 4 through 8. On to procedural actions, approval of minutes. Number 1, November 18th, 2019 voting session. And item 2, December 2nd, 2019 board organization meeting. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, invoices for approval. General fund list dated November 30th, 2019, $1,663,648.37. General fund list dated December 16th, 2019, $558,872.31. Activities fund list dated November 30th, 2019, $245.41. Activities fund list dated December 16th, 2019, $285.50. And cafeteria fund list dated December 16th, 2019, $58,785.87. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item C, Treasurer's Reports, November 2019. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Presentations, I see JROTC.
I'm Cadet First Lieutenant Ormond, and I'm a Let 4 and a senior. Since we last met on November 21st, our cadets went to the Rochester Manor and assisted with serving meals to Manor residents for Thanksgiving. Also on November 21st, we had a salute to Veterans Color Guard with the Beaver Choir and Band. On November 29th, Beaver Light Up Night, 14 cadets participated and helped. On December 3rd, we had a first drill team tryout practice, approximately 40 cadets trying to make the cut. On December 4th, we had a Friendship Ridge Light Up Night. 18 cadets escorted and celebrated the seasons with the residents. On December 8th, we had a Rochester Light Up Night event with the Color Guard team. On December 13th, at the Dutch Ridge Elementary, we had a Salute to Veterans event, and that was during school hours.
And I'm Cadet Second Lieutenant Riley Sanders. For the remainder of December, tomorrow we will have a final drill team cut to see who all made the drill team or not. December 21st, the marksmanship competition held at Seneca Valley High School. And we had a lot of cadets donate money for the TLC present drive this month, so that was nice. Upcoming in January of next year, the 8th, we will have a parent support group meeting the first Wednesday of every month. And the 23rd, we will have the joint program assessment, color guard, and drill team inspection, which is once every year, just to see if we maintain our accreditation.
Thank you for all that you continue to do. Keep up the excellent work.
are no other presenters, correct?
All right, on to new business. Item A, approve the Beaver Area School District Act 1, Section 311D resolution to not increase taxes above the district's adjusted Act 1 index of 3.4%.
So moved.
Second.
When do I? Okay, all right.
Discussion?
Yeah, so I move to table until we are able to come up with a preliminary budget.
There has been a motion to table. Is there a second to table?
Second.
We're allowed to discuss now?
Yep.
What's your thoughts on that?
We don't have the final bids back on the pool, and my concern is that the pool will then be pushed off again if it doesn't fall into the budget. And this is not, my thought is not to blanket raise above that forever. My thoughts would be to cover the pool and then, discuss moving back to, a more regular, I don't wanna see repairs to the facility get pushed off again because they don't fall into the budget.
John, if we table this, what does that do for the timing for any of this? Does it make it tighter? Are we still able to?
Yeah, that's why it's on this agenda. So it's an election year in May, so all the budget items are moved up. So I have to have one of these two by January 9th. And I
By
have to
January.
advertise immediately. If you pass B, I have to advertise immediately after this meeting.
So if we pass, if this tables, if this tables, we could potentially do just a 3.5% if that's all we needed.
3.4.
No, it'd have to be above 3.4.
You can actually do under it as
Yeah.
well. You
It just
can
keeps
do,
our options open.
all options are open with item B.
This would just limit, if you pass this, it would say you can do 3.4% or less.
Okay, I
If
was
we-
under the impression that B is that you're doing it because you're gonna exceed 3.4.
No,
But
s-
if you're not, you could still go below. But
Correct.
We just have to advertise.
It
Correct.
keeps your options open.
So we can vote down A though, our options are still open, right? If we vote no, they're still open, so we can vote it down, theoretically.
Correct. You could vote it down, or you could move to table it. Again, all dependent on what we want to do with B. We just have to remain compliant with the state, we're going to need to let our business office know what we want to do. So I think do we want a roll call vote on the move to table?
Okay.
So just for clarification.
Can I make one more?
Oh, yeah.
Can I make a statement? Well, I understand your position, but what we can always do is we can adjust our long-term projects. So we can always move the pool up and put another project off a year. So we always have that ability to do that also.
I totally understand. I just know that we've had some issues with the HVAC, and I also don't want to sacrifice health for the students. So that's why I said I don't support a blanket raise, from now until forever. But if it were something to take care of what we need to take care of and then readjust in the future, then I would support that.
Any other discussion?
So we're voting
So we're
to
voting,
table.
We're voting to table. It's going to be a roll call vote to table item A.
All item A is doing for you is telling the department we're not going to exceed the index. We might not raise taxes at all. We might raise it way less. Or whatever happens, we're not coming back to you on a schedule that says we need a referendum, we need exceptions. We're not asking for those extras above your index. So that's why you can only have A or B here.
Right.
And it changes your
Yeah.
budget schedule. This makes you a much more relaxed schedule. The other one
Yeah.
is a sooner
Whatever
schedule.
way it would be to keep our options open until we have all the figures in front of us.
So just to be clear, if we vote yes, Then we're voting to table it.
We're voting to table item A.
No, then we want to move forward.
Correct.
And if we
To
do
another
table
vote.
it, that puts B.
If we do table it, it's gonna be item B, and if we do not approve item B,
We have issues.
we have issues with the state for timeline purposes based on the regulations that are in place. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
All right, to table item A, Mr. Baradelli.
Yes.
Mr. Bickerton.
No.
Mr. Bobolino.
No.
Mrs. DeKetch.
No.
Mrs. Hill.
No.
Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
No?
Mr. Thomas.
No.
Mrs. Yates.
No.
Noes have it.
Okay.
Now you vote on the motion.
So back to A, approve the Beaver Area School District Act 1, Section 311D resolution to not increase taxes above the district's adjusted Act 1 index of 3.4%. We had a motion by Mr. Bovolino and a second by Mrs. Yates.
We'll do roll call again. Ready? Mr. Baradelli.
Yes.
Mr. Bickerton.
Yes.
Mr. Bovolino.
Yes.
Mrs. DeKetch.
Yes.
Mrs. Hill.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson.
No.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes?
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Yates.
Yes.
Yes has it. Approved.
All right. On to item B, authorize the administration to prepare a proposed preliminary budget for 2020-2021 with the option to include one or more real estate referendum exceptions, publish the required notices in a newspaper of general circulation, and to comply with all aspects of Act 1 of 2006.
So moved. Second.
I move to table.
Second.
You? Okay. So we have a motion by Mrs. DeKetch, a second by Mrs. Hill, a motion to table by Mr. Peterson, seconded by Mr. Thomas. So we are going to take a roll call on.
Excuse me, Director
Scott,
Peterson,
yeah.
this is just a proposed preliminary budget, right? This is not approving the budget, I just want to make sure everybody's clear
Correct.
on this.
Yes, this is not the budget. This is just whether or not we need a proposed preliminary. And the motion to table is because we don't need to do this, because item A was approved. So because we're not going above the Act 1 index, we don't in fact need the proposed preliminary budget. We can go directly to the preliminary budget, saving Mr. Hines' office a good deal of time. So what we're going to be voting on now is a roll call to table item B.
Mr. Baradelli.
Yes.
Mr. Bickerton.
Yes.
Mr. Bobolino.
Yes.
Mrs. DeKetch.
Yes.
Mrs. Hill.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes?
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Yates.
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right, so we're going to table item B. On to item C, approve the increase of Phase 1B renovation spending from $500,000 to $2 million.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All right,
Well, can you give just the public just a real quick synopsis of the, what we talked about on this?
Sure, so Phase 1B picks up where the summer renovation left off. So it picks up in September and runs through May of the next year. In Phase 1B, we started with a $500,000 estimate, but we asked the engineers and we asked the project managers and the contractor to look for ways to take stuff that we would normally do in the summer and move it into this Phase 1B time period that would not interrupt the classroom so that we could get more done in the summer. And they were able to come up with a lot of great ideas. Thus, we're going up by $1.5 million to $2 million for that time period. This is all funded by the bonds that we've issued.
Which is already.
which is already allocated. We have to use that bond money, 80% of it, within 3 years. So this is a good thing. This prevents delaying me from going forward and violating the law.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Item D. Approve the 30-year high-performance built-up roofing system warranty agreement with Garland for the new College Square roof. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
John, you want to give us a-
Yeah, sure. So about 30,000 square feet of College Square roof was way past end of life, and we replaced all of it with Garland. This is the last step in the puzzle. Garland is the manufacturer of the build-up roof. They basically hand us the warranty agreement and say, you have to do this, this, and this, and we will warrant this for the first 15 years, and if you do this, this, and this, we'll warrant it for another 15 years. So we're recommending that we go forward with this. Our facilities manager understands all of the inspections and the stuff that we have to do, and we want that 30-year warranty.
Excellent. Any comments, concerns? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item E, approve the Beaver Area School District's enrollment in NRG Power Pay Demand Response Program for a term of 5 years.
So moved.
Have a second? Second? Okay.
Yeah, this is, demand response is when Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland Power Pool will notify the individual transmission companies that they've got a problem. They can't meet the demand that's out there, and they ask us to knock load off. We're able to do this because for many, many years, this peak typically hits in the summer where we don't have classes, and all we would be doing would be inconveniencing the construction people that are here and the custodians, and they're okay with it if we know it's happening. So we knock power off, knock the air conditioning off and lights where we can, and they pay us money for doing that. Last year, we were paid about $5,200 for these various events. In addition, NRG tells us the likelihood of a day being a peak load day. If we voluntarily decrease our demand during that time period that they recommend, what happens is PJM basically calculates our transmission tariff based on the highest demand we create on that peak load day, which is typically one of 6 days in the summertime. And if we do this, each of those 6 days that NRG recommends, we have the potential to decrease our total demand charges for transmission. We've done that, and we lowered our demand charges by about $10,000. So we continue to work with NRG because they're so good at predicting these event days. And we typically, if we're in a bind, they give us 2 windows, a 4-hour window and a 1-hour window. We'll just hit the 1-hour window. And we've got a very good high probability of keeping our demand charges low. So it's worked out well for us. Is that enough?
Yes, thanks. Does that impact security at all? I know it's during the summer and there's not a lot of people here, especially students and teachers, but for the most part.
No,
Does
it's
that
really
impact-
just HVAC and lighting that we knock off. We don't knock off critical loads.
Anything else? All right, we had a motion by Mrs. DeKetch, seconded by me. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, on to item F. Approve the contract with Acclaim Productions LLC in the amount of $1,250 for the Jason Christopher Comedy Hypnosis Show to be performed at the Beaver Area High School Prom at the Willows in Industry, PA on Friday, May 1st, 2020, with $250 due upon approval of this agreement to reserve the date and time of the performance.
So moved. Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item G, approve the MTI production contract for royalties and material rental for the amateur production of the musical My Favorite Year for $3,190.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on My Favorite Year? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're going to bundle H and I. Appoint Aaron Bovalino to fill the unexpired term of Frank Bovalino on the Beaver Valley Intermediate Unit Board of Directors that expires on June 30th, 2021. And I appoint Scott Peterson to fill the unexpired term of Bruce Woodsky on the Beaver County Career and Technology Center Joint Operating Committee that expires in December 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Not all at once. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, and I think she's here. Item J, Mrs. O'Leary. Everyone's there. She is. All right. So item J, employ Tara O'Leary as an elementary English language arts teacher at Dutch Ridge Elementary School effective on or about January 6, 2020, pending receipt of required clearances and background checks, with continued employment after the last student day of the 2022-2023 school year, to be contingent upon having obtained a Pennsylvania certification for elementary grades 4 through 8. Remuneration $51,380 a year, step 1, on the master's salary schedule prorated for the 2019-2020 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. O'Leary interviewed with us. She has a bachelor's degree in English from Bucknell University and a master's degree in teaching from Colorado College. She taught ELA, that's English Language Arts, in Colorado, in Baltimore, and in Georgia. From 2014 to 2018, she was the preschool director at Northbridge Community Church in Cranberry, and since then she has been a daily substitute in the school district. Mrs. O'Leary is a resident of Beaver Borough, and she is clearly our selection for to fill the vacancy of Mrs. Carol Snyder, who has been with the district for 27 years and has retired.
Any questions? Now's your chance to ask her. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome aboard. Item K, employed Todd Nichols as a special education teaching assistant at the middle school effective December 3rd, 2019, pending receipt of all required clearances and background checks. Remuneration $10 per hour, 7 hours a day, 5 days a week.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, item L, approve Colonel Deborah Wilson as JROTC Rifle Academic Team Sponsor effective the 2019-2020 school year. Remuneration $1,200 for the 2019-2020 school year. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item M, transfer Drew Lewis from the position of hall monitor to special education teaching assistant at the high school effective November 22nd, 2019. Remuneration $10 an hour, 7 hours a day, 5 days a week.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item N, ratify student expulsion number 3-2019.
So
Have a
moved.
motion?
Second.
Any questions? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item O, approve request for overnight field trip for up to 40 students from Dutch Ridge Elementary School to travel to Washington, D.C. on May 20th through 22nd, 2020, Estimated cost for the trip is $550 per student, dependent upon the number of students attending, and will be paid by the student or parent.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item P, approve changes to the high school course registration for the 2020-2021 school year to include the following new courses: AP Physics 1, Sports Literacy, Podcasting 101, Environmental Science, Creative Writing 2, and Junior Seminar.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Sure.
Okay, so AP Physics 1, we are doing away with our CHS Physics class and bringing in the AP Physics because of some changes that the university made at their level that will make it difficult for us to comply. Sports Literacy, this is creating some interest in reading around a subject area that students may find interesting, but still meets all of our PA state standards. Podcast.
Is there such a course? No.
There is not such a course.
It's
We're
not
creating the
replacing.
courses.
Okay.
Podcasting 101, again, it's an interesting way for us to meet our computer science and technology goals that we have and do it in a way that is interesting to students, much like we created a new marketing class for sports and arts management, sports and arts marketing. Environmental science class. Again, it's the same thing. We have a creative writing 1 course. We're doing a creative writing 2 course. We believe that the interest from the students is there. Right, it is with the speculative fiction. And finally, the junior seminar course. And this is going to allow us to work with our students to see, or at least with a focus group of students, to see where it is they'd like to go in their career, use our Naviance program, and do some career and college readiness.
And will any of these require us to hire any new full-time teachers?
No.
All with the existing personnel. Any other questions?
College and high school class, the only one that was offered was physics, correct?
No, we have another college and high school course. Can you think of it off the top of your head? Stats? Sounds like it's stats.
All right, item P, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Scott, I'm abstaining from this vote.
Okay. Gonna have to have you fill out a form, so don't do. We're gonna bundle items Q and R. Approve list of substitute teachers for the 2019-2020 school year, pending a receipt of required clearances and background checks. And item R, approve additions to the list of district volunteers.
So moved. Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any correspondence?
Yes, we do. We have 2 pieces of correspondence. So from the BVIU and the BCCTC, Career Technology Center. So this is from the Beaver Valley Intermediate Unit. This is a resolution of praise for Frank Bogalino. Whereas this month marks the completion of 15 years, Frank Bogalino has served the Beaver Valley Intermediate Unit Board of School Directors as the Beaver Area District Representative. Whereas he has exhibited deep interest, sound leadership ability, unselfish cooperation, and dedication while he served as a member of this board from January 2004 to December 2019. Whereas by his continued support, dedication, and generous contributions of time, he has helped to improve the educational services and programs of our intermediate unit, and by his devotion, leadership, and sterling character, gained the respect of his governing body, and therefore be it resolved that Frank Bogalino is deserving of the tributes paid to him, and further be it resolved that a copy of this resolution be submitted to the Beaver Area School District and a copy be spread upon the minutes of the Beaver Valley Intermediate Unit Board of Directors this 20th day of November 2019. Second one, from the Beaver County Career and Technology Center, Joint Operating Committee, resolution praise for Bruce Woodsky. Whereas December will mark the completion of Bruce Woodsky having served the Beaver County Career and Technology Center Joint Operating Committee from January 1, 2015 through December 31st, 2019. And whereas by his continued support, dedication, and generous contributions of time, he has helped to improve the educational services and programs of our Career and Technology Center, and by his devotion, leadership, and sterling character, gained the respect of this governing body. And whereas he always exhibited deep interest, marked ability, unselfish cooperation, and dedication, and he fulfilled this office with distinction. Therefore, be it resolved that Bruce Woodsky is deserving of the tributes paid to him and will be sadly missed by all. Further, be it resolved that a copy of this resolution be submitted to the Beaver School Board and a copy be spread upon the minutes of the Beaver County Career and Technology Center's Joint Operating Committee this 21st day of November 2019.
All right. Call your attention to the administrative reports. They were in your memo and in your packet. Comments from visitors. Mike Kelly.
Yes. Mike Kelly, 465 Remote Avenue in Beaver. I would like an update on school security, specifically an update on the progress of instituting the committee's recommendations, the committee that was formed last year on school security. The previous board did not provide full disclosure of the proposed security recommendations and only provided sparse information on recommendations that were implemented. The reason given was security, as if the parents and community members present were somehow a liability if given this information. Specifically, are there any ongoing studies of improving the security protocols and existing infrastructure at the main entrance that is secured during school hours? And additionally, I'd like an update on the school security resource officer. Is this position full-time and actually being spent full-time in our school buildings? Are there any studies ongoing to supplement this position so that all three of our buildings are protected during school hours? That's it. That's it.
So our school resource officer is full-time. School resource officer is Officer Blinn from the Beaver Police Department. He is full-time here in this building and also at other buildings at certain points of the day. We just finished organizing committees, literally in our executive session before here. I hate to say please give us some time, but the new safety committee obviously is going to be getting up to speed on a lot of things and how we were doing some things. So if you can be so kind as to give us a little bit of time for the new safety committee to just get caught up.
I had an awful lot of time to get caught up and figure this out.
Pardon?
You guys have had an awful lot of time to get caught up and figure this out. This was something that happened a long time ago.
Yeah, I know that a lot of new board members feel very strongly about some things and have voiced that to us, and I'm hopeful that some of the safety committee members are new members to the board, and we've yet to meet because we just established committees today. I don't know if anyone else wants to.
I'm on the committee,
Okay.
so I'll take it. I'll make it a point that the committee, I'll work with the chair.
I'm the chair.
Robin's the chair. But I was just saying, let's get together. There's a lot that we need to get caught up on. So it's my promise, and I'm not going to speak for Robin, but we get something back to you guys by the next meeting. Just give you a status. Here's a status. I think that's all you're asking, right?
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, because there were a lot of concerned parents here throughout the year last year. There was a committee formed, and coincidentally, nobody that was at any of those meetings was selected to be on that committee. And then when we asked for an update of what came out of that committee, every board meeting, we were still studying it. And then at some point they said, we can't tell you what they came up with because then that would somehow make that public information that may expose liabilities. So I'm concerned if there still are liabilities in this school, and I want to make sure that the school board and the committees are actually doing something about it. And there were several times last year whenever there were statements made that upon further review, the SRO was not actually here full-time. It was presented as that was a full-time, position and that person was here full-time. Only upon further questioning did it come out that no, that person wasn't here for long periods of time. And so I'd like to do that, and then just have a follow-up where there's actually disclosure to the public. And it could even be, I don't want, if you don't want it to be in the public record for someone else to read later on, I would be more than happy to attend some sort of briefing if that would help allay any of those concerns. But I think that as a parent of a student in this school district, it should be my right to understand what you guys are doing. And then specifically with the infrastructure at the front entrance, I mean, we've all seen that system doesn't work. It was, we had a very, very brutal evidence that doesn't work. And I would also be more than happy to work with you guys on that, because I have installed security systems at schools, including ballistic entrances and access. I do access control on every one of my projects. I included that information on my application to be on that committee, and somehow was not selected, even though it was my idea to actually get qualified people on it. So still a little chapped from how we were treated last year, and I hope that this board recognizes that.
And I can tell you that Dr. Rowe and Mrs. Wagner-Deach wrote and received a grant specifically for school safety. And one of the specific things, because the grant requirements were having detailed explanation of where the funds would go, and part of it was for a full-time SRO. So the school district has budgeted this year and from this grant in future years money that we are setting aside for that, and Beaver Borough has been kind enough to work with us for our SRO. So our SRO is full-time, and this grant that extends for the next 2 years, 3 years, 2 or 3 years, has it in there. It's already budgeted for that full-time school resource officer.
Another question. And we also worked out with the Beaver Borough and their police department that our SOR is not subject to their lack of manpower, where they would take precedence over that SOR being in our school, because that was one of the other excuses that they used last year as well.
Yeah, that can be. We're going to report that out as appropriate, but it's Beaver Borough has always been very accommodating and willing to work with advance notice, and we try to work with them as well.
Could you let them know so what's that
Yeah.
I think that can be part of their, part of what they report.
All right. No one else
Mr.
signed up?
President?
Yeah.
Sean Snowden, 430 College Avenue, Beaver. I do ask the board, and I understand and I appreciate the concern for the safety of our students and our children in our schools. But I also ask to be sure that you're mindful that we can't be fully transparent about the steps that are being taken, because ultimately I think that could be detrimental to our students' safety. So I do appreciate that, but I understand too, as a father of a child in our schools, that full transparency can be detrimental. So I'll trust that all of you will make the right decisions to make our students safe, and I appreciate that, but I will not need to know all the details, and I hope you all understand why that's important. Thank you.
So Sean, what gives you the right to understand and know what they're doing here, but not me?
I don't know what they're doing, Mr. Kelly, and I don't think this is an appropriate conversation for us to have in front of the board.
Well, you were on the committee, right?
I'm not answering your questions. I made my statement. Thank you.
So what would is, if you guys would like to have further discussions afterwards, we just want to wrap
Sure.
this up here. Any other comments from visitors?
I have a comment, Mr. Chairman. I want to just thank.
Chairman.
Yeah. Well, you already used Mr. President. Pride Transportation, once again, tremendous year so far. I know we're nearing the holidays. Thanks for being on time, keeping the kids safe. Just a wonderful crew. The bus drivers, your whole facility, the whole staff. Great job, DJ. And second of all, I want to say this, if you've been following social media, you've seen all the wonderful things that we have going on in the district, and more importantly, as parents of kids in the district, I think most of you do have those. You can see that we're very proud of our Bobcats. They're doing some tremendous things out there in the classroom, in sports, in the community. We have a great thing going on, and we have a great student population. So thank you for supporting that, and more importantly, students are doing a wonderful job here at Beaver.
If I can add to that, and I appreciate that, but I think everybody deserves a round of applause because we were notified today that our Stuff-A-Bus on 3rd Street, that everyone's tired of driving around, broke a Toys for Tots record in Beaver County this year, and it's the 3rd consecutive year that that's the top gift drop-off location, so kudos to the whole community. It's truly a testament of our teamwork as a community, so kudos to everybody who participated in that.
And DJ, is that part of pay it forward or give back?
That's
I
right.
see so many kids at so many grade levels doing so many pay it forward
Absolutely.
things this month. It's just tremendous. I know in first grade, my experience, how much those kids have done for the community. I think it's school-wide, so it's tremendous, tremendously proud of that.
I witnessed this week, when I was picking my grandson up, 2 bus drivers came back to the elementary school, the primary, and because they each had a student, either there wasn't someone there to pick them up, and both drivers took the students into the building. I happened to be waiting for someone, a friend of my grandson, so I was there for quite a while, and both parents then came and picked them up, and that was, I mean, extra time on their part, but it's safety, and safety for the kids, so that's really nice to know that they don't just leave them off with nobody there.
We're all in this together, so thank you, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
I'm Laura, and I'm a teacher at Dutch Ridge, and I also live in Beaver. I want to thank you for the DC trip approval. Very excited about that. We just had a meeting about that with great things planned. I also wanted to thank DJ for providing transportation to our veterans breakfast. That's amazing. You guys always come through for us. And I just appreciate your support. Great things are happening in 6th grade. It's exciting. But there are great things happening up there. We're very excited about it. Thank you.
All right. If there's nothing else, our next scheduled meeting, January 13th, 2020, will be a work session right here, and January 20th, 2020, a voting session right here. Do I have a move for adjournment?
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, see you later.